What if I told you that becoming a great bass player might actually be holding you back? Now, let me explain. I know that's a very controversial thing to say, but this could change the way you think about your role as a bassist. Hey everybody, Lauren Cohn here, and welcome back to the channel. You know, as bassists, we spend so much of our time trying to master our role as groove keepers, as timekeepers, right? Just playing in the pocket, establishing that root foundation, keeping the band grooving, being the foundation of the band. And that's obviously incredibly important, don't get me wrong. But here's the problem. For so many bass players, their entire musical identity begins and ends with the bass, whether that's 4 strings and 24 frets, or in my case, you know, a 5-string and 36 frets. But they focus so much on just being a functional bassist that they never move beyond that. The Jacos, the Marcuses, the Christian McBrides, the Hadrian Farrows, they didn't just stop at being great timekeepers. They became complete musicians. And that's what I want to talk about today, how to move beyond just being a great bass player and become a musician with a complete musical voice. So here's something I've noticed with so many bassists. They're great at holding down the groove, but the moment they're called on to create a bass line that may be a little more sophisticated harmonically, or even worse, if they're called on to take a solo, they freeze. Their understanding of harmony is limited. You know, they may know scales, they may know some arpeggios, and they may have a few simple approaches to soloing. But when it comes time to really hearing and expressing harmony, they're stuck. They end up just sort of noodling around the root, unsure of where to go next. And this isn't just about individual players. If you look around at how the bass is taught online, so many teachers never go beyond the bass itself to deepen your understanding of harmony. And that's a huge missed opportunity in my view. So this is where the piano comes in. The piano is the ultimate tool for understanding harmony. You don't have to be a virtuoso piano player to benefit from it, to see and hear music in a whole new way. And here's why this matters. You know, when you sit at the piano, and if I play a chord, you can see the full vertical layout of the harmony. I can see the complete palette of notes that are part of this chord right in front of me. And most importantly, I can hear the full chord. I can hear the complete palette of notes. So this is a C major 13th sharp 11 chord. And I understand that's might be a sophisticated chord for some of you, but at the piano, it's just all right there in front of me. You know, it's all there in a harmonic manner that it just isn't on the bass. I've got my chord tones, I've got my root, my 3rd, my 5th, and my 7th, but I also have the extensions. I've got the D, I've got that 9th in front of me, I've got that sharp 11th, that F sharp, I've got that 13th. And it's very easy for me just to see that, oh, you know, that the 7th, the 9th, the sharp, the 11th, and the 13th is just a B minor 7th arpeggio. And I know all those notes are there on the bass too, but at the keyboard, it's just so much easier for me to see how it's all laid out, to hear it, and to see these connections, to see that it's just a B minor 7th arpeggio over C. And once you understand that picture, you can bring it back to the bass. Right? And I can start building lines with them. Right? I can start using that, adding that to my arsenal. So now, if I hear that chord, if somebody plays a C major 7th chord, if I see that chord on a chord chart, I know I can play a B minor 7th on this. And this brings me to one of the most controversial subjects for bass players, which is, of course, soloing. And I know so many bass players avoid soloing because they think, I'm just here to hold down the groove. But here's the thing, learning to solo isn't just about stepping into the spotlight and leaving the groove behind. It's about expanding your creative potential as a musician. Even if you never take a solo on the gig, the process of learning how to solo will transform your musicianship. Learning how to solo is going to teach you about harmony, teach you more about harmony and melody. It's going to force you to think harmonically and melodically, not just rhythmically. It's going to connect your ear to your fingers in a new way, which will help you internalize harmony and internalize the music in a new way. And it gives you a deeper understanding of the music you're playing, which is just going to make you better at creating better bass lines, fills, and everything else. It's really a win-win. Worst case, you improve your understanding of harmony and melody. Best case scenario, you discover a whole new way to express yourself. Soloing and grooving are not mutually exclusive. Jaco, groove your tail off, redefine the bass as a solo instrument. Christian McBride, greatest jazz bass player of our time, similarly, groove your tail off and has completely redefined the way people solo on the bass. Now, I'm not saying you need to be at their level, but there's a lesson to be learned here. These musicians that we admire so much did both. They expressed themselves fully as timekeepers and as soloists. Here's my challenge to you. Don't just aim to be a great bass player, aim to be a complete musician. Start learning about harmony, start learning about jazz harmony. Explore the chord structures on the piano. Get a simple keyboard. It can be super cheap. Just learn how to build chords. Learn how to see how chords are related to each other. Go beyond the roots and chord tones alone to start unlocking the chakras of chords. The better you understand harmony and melody, the more creative your bass lines will become. The better you'll be at soloing and the more complete musician you'll be. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. My sense is that there's going to be a lot of opinions about this video. Are you exploring harmony beyond the bass? Are you working on your solo voice? What do you think about bassists and soloing? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear where you're at on your journey. And if you want to learn more about how to move beyond just basic chord tones on one of the great jazz standards called Yesterdays, click here.